Morning Artesia Radio Show. Linda Stevens is here from Artesia Clean and Beautiful. How are you?
It's not wonderful anymore.
Well, I didn't know if you were mad at me when I said that.
Oh, heavens, no.
Okay.
It's humor.
Well, I hope it is. I hope people find it funny. So It was so nice to meet the new children's librarian.
Yes.
Very nice. And one of these days, I'm going to have to go read a book. I'm not a book reader.
Goodness.
Are you a book reader?
I used to read a lot more. The problem is when I get in a book, that's all I want to do.
Right.
Don't bother me. I want to sit there and I want to read the book until, and I read every morning while I'm eating breakfast.
Yeah.
So.
And even though there's chapters, you can't just stop and then pick it up later. You've got you're committed to it.
Kinda. Yeah. So, and I enjoy it. And I'm a slow reader in the sense that I see what I'm reading.
Okay.
So all the descriptive, and to read a book by Diana Gabaldon, oh my gosh, she's got so much description in there. And you see it. If somebody got stabbed in the hand and blood is squirting all over the place, you see that exactly.
Wow.
If there's a rabbit running across the snow, limping, you see that.
Wow.
It's just,
You get really involved.
If you don't see what you're reading, you're missing a lot, I think, because it's...
Well, I don't know what it is. I've never been a reader. I mean, this isn't something I just decided to stop doing.
Yeah.
I've never, and I was not discouraged from it. I was never...
You didn't have comic books when you were a kid that you read?
Not really. No,
Oh,
I just did not read stuff. So, I mean, I read news copy.
Not when you were 6 years old, I'm sure.
No. No, when I was a little older than that, I worked at the radio station. I can read. I don't have a problem with reading. Matter of fact, my first radio job was about the time of the Iran-Contra affair. And the hostage situation, not the Iran-Contra, the hostage situation in, was it Iraq? Iran. When we had our embassy taken over.
Yes.
Okay. And that stuff's in the news.
Right.
And so I'm reading the wire copies coming off the UPI wire at the radio station there, and it's all these Arabic names.
Oh, gosh.
With all the pronunciations and stuff like that. So there was a lot of that was going on at the time that I was, first working in the radio and trying to read the pronouncers and understand those names. But as far as just sitting down and reading a book, I think there's books that I've read that I remember. I remember reading the book A Tree Grows in Dubuque.
Okay.
And it was written by a minor league baseball player who played baseball in the town I grew up in Clinton, Iowa, and in Dubuque, Iowa. But I think I read that book because I liked baseball and I liked the team, and it was from Clinton, and so there was a connection there that I didn't have. But as far as just, getting and reading a book and sitting down and reading a book, I just have never, ever done that. I know it's weird.
Well, would you enjoy it if you did?
I don't know.
Well, try it. You might like it.
I can't seem to do that, I don't know.
There's a lot of books that come out. Example, The Shining.
Okay.
I read the book before the movie.
Yeah.
Such a disappointment.
Hadn't read the book, hadn't seen the movie.
Well,
I know what it's about.
A book.
The movie, but I don't know about the book.
A book can tell you what somebody is thinking.
Mm-hmm.
A movie cannot. So you get a lot more out of the book. You get what the person is feeling, what the person is thinking. They can tell you that in written copy, not in a movie. So I kept waiting when I was watching the movie, waiting to be scared at this certain point, and it didn't happen. Because the suspense in the book was such a build-up to what was going to happen.
I don't know. The scenes that I've seen of the, here comes Johnny, and the axe through the door, and all that kind of stuff. It just
wasn't, if you read the book... That
seems pretty scary to me.
If the book is so much more.
Yeah. Well, that's true. No, I'm movies, YouTube, videos, stuff like that. But as far as just...
I read very strange books, like lots of Vietnam War books. Thin Air was a great one. It was when one of our boats went literally into thin air. It passed through a time warp or something. It was the Philadelphia Project, and then it came back.
That was a movie. That was a movie, The Philadelphia Experiment.
But the book...
Then there was the movie, The Final Countdown.
Was tremendous.
Yeah.
It was, because like I said, I see everything I read. So if it's a misty night and there's no sun or light or moon or, and the star,
Yeah.
you see all of that.
Right.
But, oh yeah.
Then there was the movie The Final Countdown. You remember that movie?
Mm-hmm.
You do?
I remember the name, but I don't know that I ever saw it.
Current era aircraft carrier gets sucked up into a time warp, winds up arriving in the Pacific Ocean 2 days before Pearl Harbor.
Oh.
What do you do?
Ooh.
What do you do? Because all the planes, the missiles, the rockets, everything that's on that modern aircraft carrier can totally decimate the Japanese Air Force.
Yeah.
And prevent Pearl Harbor from happening. What do you
Wow.
do? What do you do? So, but
That would have been a good book.
well, I'm sure it came from a book. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. The most of your movies, a lot of your movies,
Oh, yeah,
come from
books.
And so, whether it's Valerie or any other librarian, and they start talking about different books, I said, well, I've seen that movie. But they're like, no, you don't understand. They're like what you're saying. They're like,
Yeah.
no, the book is way better
Oh,
than
yeah.
than the
Because
movie.
I remember when they wanted to make Diana Gabaldon's books into movies, one of the comments she made is, well, what 5 pages are you going to use? Because there was so much descriptive language in her books. It would have taken,
Sure.
hours to describe everything and
That's right.
play it out the way she had written it.
An
Her
interesting.
books are great doorstops. I mean, they're huge.
Along
Takes
those
forever.
lines, there was a movie that came out. Tom Hanks is in it, and I forget who Saving Mr. Banks. And it was the story of how Walt Disney was able to convince the author of the Mary Poppins books to let him purchase the rights to make the movie Mary Poppins, because she did not want that to happen. She refused to do that. And Walt Disney had to, really try to convince her that they were going to properly treat her movie and her characters. But see, that's a movie. But it's about an author who did not want their book to be turned into a movie because it wouldn't be right. And I think she never did like the movie. She never did. Mary Travers, or P.L. Travers.
Yeah, because see, you can't always translate the written word into.
Right, but sometimes
action
as an
or
author,
movement.
you just have to let it go and let Hollywood do their treatment to it, because it can't be the same.
No, it's not going to be.
But you got to let them try to do it at some point. And some authors are really sticklers for that. I understand the guy that wrote the Dirk Pitt character, Clive Cussler, was a real jerk on the movie sets. And there were at least 2 movies that were made from his novels and his character, and they were like 20 years apart, because the first one he hated so bad and it was so terrible and he was never going to do it again until the second one came out, and then that ruined it forever. No one he's ever going to make a Clive Cussler novel until he dies.
Yeah.
But the first one was Raise the Titanic, which came out in the 1970s, and then the last one came out in the 2000s called not Sahara. Was it Sahara? Yeah. With Matthew McConaughey. But some authors are like that. It doesn't matter. They can't turn it loose. They can't just completely let it go to Hollywood.
And that's their work.
Yeah.
They birthed that book, you might say.
Yeah, absolutely. So most of them can, depending on the size of the check.
Well,
okay,
maybe.
fine. I wrote the book. The movie's not anything like it, but I got a big fat payday and I'm living on a beach in the Caribbean. But there's others, like you say, that just they can't turn it loose.
Well, that's another thing that's wrong with written word, even texts. You write something and somebody better know you really well, because they might take it wrong.
Oh yeah.
You can read 4 words 5 different ways, depending on how the person reads, and they could be really mad at you or really happy with you.
If you ever get a text that says, "We need to talk,"
yeah, you never know. Does the blood drain from your body and doom and gloom came, or ooh, you just won $1 million, or we need to talk. We need to talk. It can be translated in so many different ways.
Oh yeah.
But that's what's wrong with written word. You have to be very careful. And There's
Yeah.
only so many ways to say,
That's right.
hi, how you doing?
There's only so many ways to say we need to talk.
Yes.
All right, we need to break. More.
careful.
We're going to talk trash on the other side of the news. This is